Welcome back guys. Today in this video we are going to make a to-do list with React. So what this exactly does is we have a task and we can add new task like go to walk, and if I add a to-do it just appears right here. So I have an option to mark that to-do as completed, so you can add your day-to-day things here and just complete them as if you were really doing it. We are just going to make it. So if I click completed right besides play games, it will get a strike through and there's no way going back. And I can do the similar with anything loop. So if I do completed here, they get strike through, which means they are done. So I could add more to-dos, like this is a dummy one, so I can just mark it to do, or I could add many to-dos without even marking them. So, and if I mark something, the only that one will be marked. So we are going to do this with React. As you see here, I have done this using React. So let's get into this. Okay, so we have this empty folder. In this folder we have to install React. So what we need to do is basically we could just go into VS Code. So I will open this with VS Code. So it would just open right here. So here you see this is a folder named workspace. Right here you can see, and I want to install React into this folder. So what I need to do is open the terminal, and so here I will type in npx create react app and a dot. The dot means that I want to install React into the same folder. I do not want to make another folder for React. So when I hit enter, this will take a while. This is not a quick operation, like it will download React and then it will place all the files and then install all the dependencies. It would, in short, it's going to take time. So I'll just pause the video and get back when this is done. Okay, so now we have waited like 3 minutes and React is now installed. So if I want to start the development server, I just type npm start and hit enter. So here we go. Now it will open the browser for me and start the development server. Yeah, so the Chrome's opening, and it would take time because it's actually compiling the JavaScript into some random files in that we couldn't understand reading in the first place. So yeah, here's our basic React app. We don't need all of this, like this is of no use. We just want to make a to-do list. So I would tell you what are the most unnecessary files you want to remove. So this CSS file, we don't require it, so we would select this. Then we will go to index.css. We don't need app.test.js. We don't need logo, service worker, setup test. We don't need all of this. We just need app.js and index.js. So I just delete them off. And still, yeah, now it will throw us error, something has broken. That's because we have deleted so many files. Now we need to set it up like in index.js. Just remove that index.css import and also the service worker import, because we just deleted it because we had no use. And also remove this service worker unregistered thing, we don't require it. And in app.js we need to remove this logo and app.css, and we just remove all of this. We don't need this, and we would just make a simple fragment here. So yeah, now we go to public. Now let's save this and save the index file, and the page will just come blank. There will be nothing because we just removed everything. So now let's set up a index.html to get all the bootstrap and all. So now just remove these comments. We don't need these comments. You need to do this cleanup every time you install React. So we deleted this. So in title I would just say simple to-do list. Okay, here we go. Now I need to include bootstrap here, so I would just go ahead and search for bootstrap CDN on Google. Here we go. Now I would just find the W3 schools link here. Why this? Because this gives you all everything jQuery and everything link ready, so I don't need to search for another link for jQuery. So I would copy this CSS file right here, and I'll paste it right above the title inside the head, and I have the bootstrap CSS ready. Now I want all the JavaScript libraries. We don't need it, just to make it fair enough. I'm just trying to wait, what happened there? Oh, I mistakenly pressed Ctrl S. So yeah, just before closing the body, we will paste all the scripts here and save it. We don't need to edit anything here right now, so just leave it. All we need to do is in the app. So for now, just make container into the fragment. See, there is a tip. Whenever you start up a component, always start it with fragment. Never start it with div, because it may work sometimes, it may not work sometimes, but when you do fragment, it's guaranteed it's going to work. So let's make a div container. So div class. Another thing to remember in JSX, this is actually not HTML which you are entering here. This is JSX. So in JSX we do not call class as class, it's called class name. So here we put container since it's container. So yeah, now I will just type random text for you here for now. So simple to do list. So let's see the browser. Yeah, so we have the container here because there is spacing behind this, so we know this is a container. So now what we should do, we should create a table to list all our to-dos. So before doing that, I would first make await our state. Actually React plays with states, so I would create a state to store all the to-dos. So right below the function app, I would go here and make a state. So const, so to-dos, and set to do as a function to set the to-dos. So this will use a state. So use state. Now this would be an array because we don't know how many to-dos we have. We can have unlimited, we can have 5, we can have 4. So this is basically an array. So we have an array here, and what a to-do will contain is text. So we want a text in the to-do. So what is your to-do about? So that's basically the text. So we have text here, and we will just put some dummy data for here for right now. So go to walk, and there should be one more parameter, like is that task completed or not. We should know that that task is completed or not, because in that application we had just put a strike through on the tasks which are completed. So we would just provide a completed parameter here. By default it would be false, which means it's not completed. So let's just copy this and make one more, and go to walk. I just replace it, go to gym. So yeah, this is fair enough. So what I need to do now, I would create a table. Before even creating a table, let's create a to-do component which will list the to-dos. So here we go. To make a to-do component, we just make a function. That's so simple. Function to-do. Now function to-do returns a to-do. So the form of to-do we are returning is in JSX, because it's a table component. So because we are returning JSX, we should do return. So yeah, now I have to go under this, and I have to make a fragment here too. Now basically what this is a table. So if we just go right into this and create a table with class name table. So class name table is just a bootstrap class. There's nothing mode. So if I go under this and create a T head, which means table head, and in T head I would just create a new table row. This is just basic HTML you have to write in the form of JSX. That's not a very big deal. So if I do TH here, which means table heading, the first column would be the to do, so the to do, and the second column will be completed. So yeah, here we go. So the head is complete right here. So what we need to do, we need to place all the to-dos there. So now we will create a T body. This is the body of the table. So we have to set the to-do to display this text, and we have all these values. So we would just go here and we will make new curly braces for entering JavaScript in it. If you make curly braces in return, that means you are entering JavaScript in it. So now we have to map through all of the to-dos. So these are the to-dos, we have to map through them to get all of the to-dos. So we go here and to-dos dot map. Wait, something's wrong maybe. Yeah, now it's okay. So what basically to-dos.map do, that it just takes all of the elements of that array and does something with them. So it's similar to for each, just map returns something. So here we go. So for each to-do item I need to return a to-do component, I mean here. So to do, I need its text to be to-do.text. So this is because if you look closely, for each to do, and text is a property of a to do, so to-do.text, and completed, so we would have completed to set to to-do.completed. So if to-do.completed is true, then completed will be true, and vice versa. Yeah, so we don't need anything right now, but we would modify this surely later. So just let's end this right here, and we need to make the to-do component, right? So here we go. So now we already had made the T body, so we just need to make a TR. So here we go, TR, and now here we need to make a TD. The first column was the to do, so we need to basically find a text. So we are sending the text here, so this text would be sent into that component as a property. So here, right here, we take all the properties. So I would just do text right here, because we sent it by the name of text. So I would just open curly braces because this is dynamic, and I would just enter text right here. So this is done. Now use state is not defined. Okay, this is because we need to define it right here. Okay, set to do, we will handle that later, but that's just a warning. Now if you see, these are go to walk and go to Gmail right here. Now we need to do something that if that thing is completed, we need to strike through. Okay, so we need to make a style in it, style in the TD, so that the text is done according to the completed. So we have passed the completed, so we would bring in the completed here, right here. So I would make a style here. Style takes an object, and by default, if the style is by the to do is completed, we would have text decoration. Line through. What this is just cuts off the entire line with a straight line. So if I just save this and I'll show you, this is what line through does. It's just basic CSS. So we don't want to show this every time. We only want to show it when this is complete. So I would cut it off, and what I will do, I would check if completed is true. So completed and question mark. This is a ternary operator. So if completed is true, I want to do this, and if it's not true, then I want to just return null. So what this will do, this would just nothing change. So go to walk, go to gym is like that. But if I go here and I do completed to true for one of those, here you will see go to walk, it's just completed and there is a line through. So let's go back and change it back to false, because we don't want it to be false by default. So if we change it to false, it will back to normal. So here we go. Yeah, so this is normal. So if we go back here, now we need to do that completed thing, and we need to do something so that we could set the task to complete. So what we could do, we could just make a function in here and mark it as complete. So for that, I would create one more column right here, because we had two columns, one for the task and other for completed. So we would have td, and right here I would just show a checkbox. So the way we show a checkbox is input. So input type checkbox. So we need to disable it if the task is already complete. So disabled completed. So if the task is completed, it will just disable the checkbox, so it won't be disabled again. So yeah, for now we have this, and if we go here, there is checkbox. So we could just click on it and nothing will happen for now, because we have done nothing with the checkbox right now. So we need to make a function which does something so that we delete the, and we mark the completed and to do. So the map takes in another property called index. So it contains the index of the array, like this would be index 0 and the second would be index 1. So, and we need to pass on the index there. So index would be index. So we pass the index as a property, so we would take index. Now the basic idea is that we would call a function here and send the index, and we could just find the index and mark it as completed. So yeah, that's pretty complicated if I just explain it like that. So first I'll make a function which will just do that. So okay, so we have, so I am making an arrow function. There's generally no difference between an arrow function or normal function, they would do the same thing, but arrow function looks just cleaner. So const, now we need to make on complete, and this takes the index. So yeah, which we can't, it's not necessary we name it index, we can just name it I, it's just anything. So for now I would just make it e. So yeah, now in this what we need to do, we need to grab the to-dos, we need to find the index, and then we need to mark it as complete and save it back to the to-dos. So for that we need to get the to-dos. So const new to-dos, we get all the to-dos. Now we need to change the completed of the to-do which we have the index, and the index is e. So in new to-dos of index e, I need to mark the completed as true. So yeah, that's basic, and now we need to save it back into the state. So set to do, we don't need a spread operator here because already in new to do we have called the spread operator and we have everything. So just call new to do and it will just mark it complete. So I need to some way that this function could go here. The way I can do is just passing it by the props. So I would just go here and on complete. So I just pass the function, we would get the function right here on complete. Now what I need to do on when should we do it complete? So when a user clicks on the checkbox, it should be complete. So just do it on click right here, and we need to perform a function. So on complete, and we need to provide it the index which we have in the properties already. So here we go. I think this should work. So if I save this and go here, if I do mark this complete here, now you see that this checkbox is disabled because with the completed is true, and it was just depending on the completed value. So if I click go to gym, it will be also completed and strike through will be here. So yeah, so this part is complete. Now I need to add new to do. So for that I need to create a form. So right below this I will create a new state for form data. Now this will generally be an object. So what we want is the text from the user, just the text, and we would want it blank to be by default because we do not want anything to come into the text box by default. So yeah, this would be changed when someone types into this. So here we go. Now below the div below the table, right? Yeah, below the table I will go ahead and create a form. So yeah, so here we will create a div with class name of form group. Yeah, this is just regular bootstrap, you can just learn it. So label HTML4. So for attribute is HTML4. I just wasted a lot of time figuring this out, so just remember this. So we need the label for text. So here we go, and to do will be the label of the text box. So and here I will make a text box, text with name of text and a value of form data dot text. So we just want the text, so that was empty, so by default the text box will show empty. And on change we want to perform a function called on change, which we have not made right now, but we are going to make it. So so E is basically an event. So if I click on change, an event will occur, and that event is actually an object containing the details about the input. So yeah, so we have this right now, and that's enough for this text box. So here we go, and we need to make a button. So button, and we want this to submit the form. So button type submit, and we want to style it. So class name will be button success, again bootstrap. So here also we need to provide a class name of form control, and I would give it a placeholder too. So placeholder would be enter your true. So yeah, that's pretty much everything we need right now. So okay, so something's wrong here. Okay, I didn't completed this. And to do on change is now, yeah, I know. So we need to also make an on submit to the form. On submit, okay, So this will just perform an on submit function. We will create this function right now. So const change. So I will copy this and paste this, and this will be for on submit. So for on change, I want to set the form data state. So whenever users type in the text box, I want to state to update simultaneously. So here we go. On change. So set form data, and here I will use the spread operator form data, so that no data is lost if you ever wish to make some more fields. So form data comma, and here I need e dot target dot name, so it will grab the name of the box, which is text. So, and we want to set text to the value of text, so e dot target dot value. So yeah, this is complicated, but this is just you need to know it once, and you would just do it anytime, anywhere. So I'll go ahead and save this, but we are not done yet. We need to do submit. Okay, so first thing you should type in on submit is e dot prevent default. If you don't type this, so if I cut this and I save this, and if I go to submit a to do, it will refresh the page. We don't want to refresh the page, so we need to do e dot prevent defaults. Now if we save this won't do anything, but it won't refresh the page. So we go here. Now we need to set a to do according to the form data. So we would go set to do. Now we need to keep the existing to do, so we would use spread operator to do's, and text should be actually there's a mistake. This should be an array. Yeah, to do's, and we need another object here, which would be text would be form data dot text, and completed should be false by default every time. So here we go. Now let's try to do this. So let's go to walk again. There's a problem. As you see, you cannot type, so there's absolutely some problem. So I cannot type right there. So on change, yeah, I need to provide e in the parameters. That's so bad on my part. So now I can type here. Yeah, so enter your to do. I would just go to walk again, and just I would go to I would just go to store. Now I could mark these as complete, and I am not went to store. Now I need to go to my relatives. So yeah, but I went to store before the relatives, so now I can do this for both. Now you get it. You can now create a to-do list with the React. So it's so easy. I'm going to make huge projects I have in mind, so please subscribe to channels and play around with React. I don't think it's too hard. If you practice it well, you will get your hands with it. So get your hands dirty. That's what I am saying, and I'll meet you in the next video.